Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan is a special month for all Muslims around the world, and no matter how many days we fast, food seems to be in the center of it all. This can be quite challenging for people with eating disorders, as food is everywhere, from small iftar parties to large communal iftar gatherings, in real time and on social media. And then there is this build up to Eid, where the attention slightly shifts to clothes and how everyone looks. This, of course, is far removed from the essence of Ramadan, which is to attain taqwa by becoming a better person and having a better relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Eating disorders is a spectrum of disorders such as anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, binge eating disorder, orthorexia, just to name a few, which are all mental health conditions. And people with eating disorders use disordered eating behaviors as a way to cope with things that are happening or the way they feel. Mental health is a hot topic but still quite misunderstood, while eating disorders is rarely spoken of and still stereotyped to affect white women. In fact, eating disorders can affect people of all ages, all ethnicities, all backgrounds, and both males and females. Between 2017 and 2020, eating disorder admissions in the UK rose by 53% among ethnic minorities, with the sharpest rise for people from a black African background. As with all mental health conditions, it is not a physical illness. So when someone is unable to fast, they're seen as not practicing or weak in the deen. Such judgments and devaluing their mental health condition can actually have a debilitating effect on their condition by enhancing feelings of shame and guilt. I'm Tamina Mirza, a registered dietitian, and in this video I'm going to go through how you can still participate in Ramadan while living with an eating disorder, and how best to fast if you are safe to do so, and how to support a person living with an eating disorder during Ramadan. A person who's living with an eating disorder may be in one of these three states. You could be in a state of starvation where your body is already compromised and fasting will further deteriorate your health, or you could be early on in recovery, so fasting will increase your anxiety and may trigger relapse, or you could be in recovery but still safe to fast some days of Ramadan with support. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "So whoever is present this month, let them fast, but whoever is ill or on a journey, then let them fast an equal number of days after Ramadan. Allah intends ease for you, not hardship, so that you may complete the prescribed period and proclaim the greatness of Allah for guiding you, and perhaps you will be grateful." This means that as a person living with an eating disorder, whether you're early on in your condition and in a state of starvation, or early on in your recovery, are both considered to be an ill person, and therefore you should not fast, as fasting can be harmful for you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in the Quran, "Do not let your own hands throw you into destruction," which essentially means do not act in a way that harms your body. Most imams and Muslim chaplain services within the NHS are aware of eating disorders and will advise against you fasting during this critical time, as fasting is for healthy people. Fasting during Ramadan could adversely and significantly affect your health, well-being and overall recovery. So there is no need to feel ashamed or guilt when unable to fast. It is natural to feel excluded and overwhelmed when not being able to fast during Ramadan, but remember you are exempt from fasting on medical grounds, and there are other acts of ibadah you can participate in, as Ramadan is a month of self-reflection and means to become a better person, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judges us on our intentions. Along with sticking to your individual meal plan, you can take part in other forms of ibadah while you are not fasting, such as your daily salah, along with tarawih salah or tahajjud salah, alone or in congregation, preparing food for those who are fasting, spending time making dhikr, making dua, reciting Quran daily with its interpretation, reading Islamic books such as tafsir, seerah or about Ramadan, or spending time doing things that make you closer to Allah, such as giving sadaqah, visiting the sick and elderly, or showing small acts of kindness to people around you, such as smiling or fundraising events, or listen to Quranic recitation by your favorite sheikh. To make it a bit easier, a personal Ramadan plan can help to check in with yourself so you're not too hard on yourself, and practice self-compassion and being kind. Remember that you can make up the missed fast at a later time when you're in a better place. If fasting triggers your eating difficulties and you're unable to make up your fast, you can pay fidya instead. To do so, contact your local masjid or imam to calculate the compensation. If your care team has confirmed that it is safe for you to fast and fasting will not affect your recovery or increase the risk of relapse, then there are a number of things you must ensure in place to help you get through Ramadan. However, it is important to keep checking in with yourself, as some people start to experience unhelpful thoughts about losing weight while fasting. So try to keep reminding yourself of the essence of Ramadan, such as Laylatul Qadr, the miraculous revelation of the Quran. If you notice any signs of relapse, then it is vital you speak to a loved one and stop fasting temporarily until you're in a better place. While fasting, it is paramount that you do not skip suhoor or iftar, as these meals are vital in providing you with energy and hydration for the fast. Plus, there is reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in having these meals. Plan your meals in advance by ensuring to include energy-rich foods at suhoor and iftar, such as rice, bread, parathas, cereals, oats, dates, yogurts, and desserts. And balance these meals with proteins and vegetables. If you're stuck for how to plan your meals for iftar and suhoor, reach out to your dietitian who can help you. For iftar, break your fast with dates and water as per sunnah, and then pray your Maghrib Salah. This gap in time will help you from getting overwhelmed and sets the pace in eating. After Salah, take a small plate and take foods from each food group as discussed with your care team or your meal plan. Take a portion of carbohydrates such as rice, bread or potatoes and combine it with some proteins such as chicken, fish, pulses, beans or meat, and include vegetables or salad to complete the meal. After iftar, try to have a milky dessert or yogurt. It is natural and usual to feel full after iftar, so try to get into the habit of tolerating this feeling in preparation for Ramadan. This will help you manage your feelings and help you avoid purging, vomiting or using laxatives. If you struggle with binges and purging, which can be triggered by the long hours of fasting, make sure you do not skip suhoor or iftar and practice mindful eating during iftar by eating your meal at a sensible pace. Following iftar, try to distract yourself from unhelpful thoughts by talking to others, read the Quran, make dhikr, pray the Tarawih Salah or spend time with family. Other activities such as keeping a journal, listening to Quran, lectures, podcasts, breathing exercises or mindful colouring can be helpful too. If purging does happen, try not to dwell on it and move on to your usual next meal. If the non-fasting hours allows you enough time to eat another meal, then choose a meal from your usual meal plan, but be mindful that you still need to eat your suhoor. For suhoor, aim for balanced meals by including foods from the three main food groups, which could be beans or cheese on toast, or oats porridge with milk or overnight oats, or a paratha, rice or roti with a curry such as chana masala, a meat curry or a chicken curry. And these meals should be accompanied with some fruit or vegetables, nuts, and a milky dessert or a drink. Try to keep hydrated by drinking plenty of water between iftar and suhoor gradually, rather than drinking large amounts of water at once. Above all, be compassionate to yourself. It is okay if things don't go according to plan. Therefore, don't give up and try to learn from the experience and what can be done differently the next day. For example, if you were to break your fast, hydrate yourself and eat something small like dates, and then continue to eat something from your usual meal plan. Also, during this time, try and reflect on what can be done differently next time and what support you need should the same feelings arise again. As eating disorders has a huge impact on the person and the family, therefore try to have conversations about Ramadan before Ramadan with sensitivity, respect and compassion. Remember that the person may need to be reminded that they're exempt from fasting due to illness. If the person is not fasting, help them to find alternatives to fasting. Remind them that there are other ways to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during Ramadan other than fasting. Encourage them to recite and listen to the Quran, pray their salah, give sadaqah or make dua. If the person will be fasting some days, encourage them to eat their iftar and suhoor with compassion and encouragement, and provide reassurance and support if they're unable to fast or need to break their fast. Encourage the person to sit together with the family during iftar. This will create a sense of belonging and participation during Ramadan, but keep conversations neutral during iftar and suhoor by avoiding comments or conversations about weight goals and body size, etc. Instead, provide support during mealtimes to ensure the person eats regularly during recovery, even when others may be fasting. Ask the person if they need additional support, such as at family or large gatherings, where they may encounter comments or conversations, or if they would like you to help them to have difficult conversations with family about why they're not fasting or eating very little. Knowing the offer is there is reassuring. After Ramadan, it may feel unusual at first to be eating during the day and returning to your meal plan of eating 3 times a day. Therefore, it's important to remind yourself of your intentions behind fasting and return to your usual pattern of eating before Ramadan. If eating 3 meals a day feels a little daunting, then they can be divided into smaller meals or halves. It is natural to feel some discomfort initially when eating regular meals, but this will soon pass. Therefore, it's important to continue to eat regularly and use your coping strategies like the ones you used after iftar if needed. If at any time you feel you need to talk with someone or would like more information, then these agencies can help. The links are also available in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and please like, share, comment and subscribe to Conscious Bites Dietitian.